It's 3:14 a.m. The rain is hitting the windshield of your 2018 Ford Explorer in a rhythmic, mocking beat. You're sitting in a stakeout zone off 4th and Main, staring at a flickering neon sign for a closed laundromat. Your bank account balance is $1,104.22. Most of that is already spoken for by the mortgage and the alimony you owe Sarah. The air in the cruiser smells like stale black coffee and the cheap upholstery cleaner the department uses. You take a sip of a lukewarm espresso from a paper cup. It tastes like battery acid. Then, your radio crackles to life. Dispatch reports a 187 homicide at abandoned warehouse in the Dock District. You're the closest unit. You put the car in gear and feel the transmission slip slightly because everything in your life is fraying at the edges. You arrive at the scene 7 minutes later. The blue and red lights bounce off the corrugated metal of the warehouse. Yellow tape is already fluttering in the wind. You step out, your boots splashing into an oily puddle. You see Miller, your partner, standing by the entrance. He looks pale under the flickering floodlights. "It's a bad one, Elias," he says. You walk inside, the smell hitting you before the sight does. It's the metallic tang of blood mixed with industrial grease. A man is slumped against a crate of rusted machine parts. He's been executed. One clean shot to the temple. You kneel down, flicking on your high-intensity mag light. The beam cuts through the gloom. You scan the floor for casings, and then you see it. Tucked just under the lip of a wooden pallet is a lighter. It's a Zippo brushed chrome with a very specific scratch on the lid, a jagged L carved into the metal. Your heart doesn't skip a beat. It stops entirely. You know that lighter. You bought it for your younger brother, Leo, for his 21st birthday. You remember the exact price. $34.99 plus tax at a smoke shop in Queens. You look around quickly. Miller is distracted talking to a forensics tech 20 feet away. You reach down, your fingers trembling slightly. You pocket the lighter. It feels like a lead weight in your tactical trousers. "Find anything?" Miller asks, turning back toward you. You look him dead in the eye and lie. "Nothing yet, just a messy scene." Because he's family. You tell yourself it's a mistake. Leo was probably just here earlier. Maybe he dropped it weeks ago. You rationalize the lie by telling yourself you're protecting the investigation from a false lead. You go home at 6 a.m. You sit in your kitchen, staring at the Zippo on the Formica tabletop. You pull up Leo's Instagram on your cracked iPhone screen. He posted a photo 3 hours ago. He's at a high-end lounge, holding a glass of $200 scotch. The caption reads, "Making moves." You know Leo doesn't have a job. You know he hasn't had a job in 18 months. But there he is, wearing a tailored Navy suit that costs more than your monthly paycheck. You call him. He doesn't answer. You leave a voicemail, your voice sounding like someone else's. "Leo, it's me. We need to talk. Now." 2 days pass. The ballistics report comes back on the warehouse hit. The weapon was a .45 caliber, likely suppressed. It's professional. It's cold. The lead investigator, a bulldog named Captain Vance, calls a meeting. He shows a graining CCTV still from a block away. "It's a silver BMD Envy, sir. Is yours?" You recognize the dent on the rear bumper. That's Leo's car. But you don't say a word. You sit in the back of the briefing room, the sweat cooling on the back of your neck. You tell yourself you'll handle it privately. You'll get him out of town. You'll fix it before Vance connects the dots. Because that's what brothers do. That night, Leo finally shows up at your apartment. He looks different. He looks energized. He walks in and tosses a thick envelope on your coffee table. "Open it," he says, a smirk playing on his lips. You open the flap. It's filled with crisp, sequential $100 bills. You count it quickly. $15,000. "Where did this come from, Leo?" You ask. Your voice is a whisper. He shrugs, sitting on your sofa like he owns the place. "I'm in consulting now, Elias. High-stakes stuff." You hold up the Zippo. His smirk vanishes for a fraction of a second, but then it returns, wider than before. "Thanks for finding that, big brother. I thought I'd lost it for good." He doesn't deny being at the warehouse. He doesn't even look guilty. He looks at you with a chilling kind of pity. "You're drowning, Elias. I see the bills on your counter. I see the notice from the bank." He gestures to the envelope. "Consider it a gift for all those times you looked out for me when we were kids. You should arrest him. You should put him in cuffs right there. But you think about your $18,000 in credit card debt. You think about the $4,000 you owe Sarah in back payments. You think about how easy it would be to just let this go. This doesn't mean I'm on your side," you say. But you don't push the money back. You slide the envelope into the drawer of your nightstand. The honeymoon phase begins. For the next 3 months, your life changes. You pay off your car. You buy a new watch. A tag hewer that catches the light in the precinct. Miller notices. "Big win at the track?" he asks. You just laugh and tell him your aunt left you a small inheritance. It's a clean lie. You start using your access to the VICAP database to keep Leo one step ahead. You check the license plate readers for his BMW. You delete a flagging notification from the gang task force. It's easy. It's just a few keystrokes. It's just a glitch. in the system. You tell yourself you're keeping him safe so he can go straight. But Leo isn't going straight. He's going deep. He starts calling you at 2 a.m. with requests. He needs to know if a certain warehouse is being watched. He needs to know which docks have the lowest security patrols on Tuesday nights. You provide the info. You rationalize it. If there's no violence, it's a victimless crime. Then comes the system. You realize you can't just hide things anymore. You have to actively manipulate the flow of information. You create a ghost file in the precinct's digital archive. You route all tips regarding Leo's associates to a dead-end folder you've labeled inconclusive low priority. You're now a high-functioning double agent. Your heart rate spikes every time the captain walks past your desk. You've lost 6 pounds in 3 weeks. One afternoon, you're sitting in the evidence locker. You're supposed to be logging a bag of seized fentanyl, but you're actually swapping out a digital drive from a street corner camera. The original drive shows Leo's face clear as day. You replace it with a corrupted backup. Your hands are slick with sweat. The door creaks open. It's Miller. He's holding a clipboard. Hey, Elias. You seen the log for the 4th Street surveillance? Your throat goes dry. You feel the physical weight of the drive in your pocket. System crashed while I was uploading it, you say. I'm trying to recover the sectors now. You look down at your screen, pretending to be frustrated. Miller lingers. He looks at the back of your head for a long second. You've been spending a lot of time in here lately, partner. You okay? Just detail-oriented, Miller. You know me. You don't look at him. Because if you do, he'll see the lie written in your pupils. He leaves, but the silence he leaves behind is heavy. A year passes. You've moved into a new condo in a gated community. You have $140,000 hidden in a fireproof safe behind your wardrobe. You don't talk to Sarah anymore. You don't talk to anyone. Every person you see is a potential witness or a potential threat. You're watching this right now thinking you'd be smarter. You think you know when to walk away. If you want more stories about the high price of silence, hit subscribe. But that's exactly what you told yourself a year ago. You thought you could control the fire. Now you're just standing in the middle of a burning room, wondering why it's getting hard to breathe. You're at a high-end steakhouse with Leo. The bill is $450. He pays in cash. He's talking about expansion. He mentions a name you recognize from a federal wiretap. Moretti. Stay away from him, Leo. You warn. The feds are all over his operation. Leo just smiles. It's a shark smile. I am the operation now, Elias. Moretti works for me. You realize then that your brother is no longer the kid you protected from bullies. He's the bully. The paranoia is a constant hum in your ears. You check your car for trackers every morning. You've installed 3 different encrypted messaging apps on your phone. You go to work and look at the most wanted wall. There's a sketch of a man Leo works with. You recognize the scar on his jaw. You have to find him before someone else does. Not to arrest him, but to warn him, to keep the wall between your 2 lives from crumbling. Then the trap snaps. It's a Tuesday. 4:45 p.m. You're finishing up some paperwork when Captain Vance calls you into his office. Miller's already there. He won't look at you. He's staring at the floor. Vance has a folder on his desk. It's thin. Alias, Vance says. His voice is tired. Internal Affairs did a routine audit on the evidence locker logs. They found some discrepancies. Your stomach drops. You feel like you're falling from a great height. Discrepancies. You repeat. You sound like a recording. Digital footprints, Vance says. User ID 7749. That's your login, Elias. Accessing files at 3 a.m. from a remote VPN. You tell yourself you can explain it. You were working a cold case. You were doing extra research. But then Vance opens the folder. It's a photo. Not from a surveillance camera. It's a photo taken from across the street of your condo. It shows you and Leo on your balcony. Leo is handing you a briefcase. The date and time are stamped at the bottom. It was 2 weeks ago. Your brother is the primary suspect in the Moretti homicide, Vance says. And it looks like you've been his personal guardian angel. The room is silent. Just the hum of the AC. You look at Miller. He finally looks up. There's no anger in his eyes. Only a profound, soul-crushing disappointment. I thought we were partners, Miller says. He stands up and walks out. He doesn't say another word. Vance sighs. You have 2 choices, Elias. You give us Leo. You set up a meet. You wear a wire. And you help us bring down the whole structure. Or, you ask. But you already know. Or you go down with him. For everything. Tampering. Obstruction. RICO. You'll spend the next 25 years in a federal pen. Vance is giving you 24 hours. It's a courtesy for your 12 years of service. You sit in your dark living room. You look at the safe behind the wardrobe. You look at the tag Huey on your wrist. The money is useless. The watch is just a ticking reminder of how much time you have left. You call Leo. They know, you say. Everything. There's a long pause on the other end. You expect panic. You expect Leo to ask for a way out. Instead, he laughs. It's a cold, hollow sound. I know they know, Elias. Who do you think tipped off Internal Affairs? The world stops. What? You were getting sloppy, Leo says. And you were getting expensive. You wanted 20% of every shipment. just to keep the logs clean. I never asked for that, you shout. I protected you. The records say otherwise, Leo says calmly. I had my guys spoof your accounts. There's a paper trail of you demanding bribes that goes back 18 months. If I go down, Elias, I go down as a businessman. You go down as a dirty cop. Who do you think the system hates more? He hangs up. You realize the system you built wasn't yours. It was his. You didn't want a brother. You wanted a fall guy. You look at your service weapon on the coffee table. The Glock 17, the matte black finish is cold against your palm. You could go to the meet, you could kill him. But that wouldn't change the digital footprints. It wouldn't change the photos. You realize you have been a dead man for a long time. You just didn't notice the heartbeat had stopped. The next morning, you don't go to the precinct. You drive to the docks. You go back to that warehouse where it all started. The yellow tape is gone. The blood has been scrubbed from the concrete. It's just an empty hollow shell of a building. You sit on the same wooden pallet where you found the Zippo. You pull it out of your pocket. You flick the wheel, the flame is small. It flickers in the draft. You think about the $34.99 you spent on it. You think about how that was the last honest thing you ever did. You hear sirens in the distance. They're coming for you. Not for Leo. Not for Moretti. Just for you. You're not a mastermind. You're not a tragic hero. You're just a ghost haunting your own life. You close the lid of the Zippo. The flame goes out. The darkness is total. The sirens get louder, but you don't move. Because there's nowhere left to go.